英語聞き流しリスニング、英語テキストと MP3 ダウンロード、その他の物語はホームページからお聞きいただけます。88thpp.com 88thpp.com
Hi, this is your host, Hidemi Woods. I'll read an episode from my book, An Old Tree in Kyoto. Today I'm reading an episode titled The Lessons. This is about the Japanese dancing lessons my mother and my sister used to take. The lessons. My mother used to take lessons in Japanese dancing. A woman in the neighborhood taught it in the evening to the neighbor housewives at her house. They held an annual public performance, and my mother would practice earnestly at home when it came closer. My sister and I used to imitate her and dance alongside her. I liked it and danced quite well. I was in junior high school, and my sister was still in elementary school. Since my sister came home from school much earlier than I did, my mother would take her to the lessons and let her wait and watch there. My father gave my mother a ride for every lesson. So, my parents and my sister would go out together once a week while I was left in the house with my strict grandparents. Soon my sister began to take lessons as well. I felt it extremely unfair because it was I who danced well and should take lessons. I complained to my mother as hard as I could, but she never paid attention. The junior high I attended was so far from my home, and I couldn't come home by the time they left for lessons. My mother made no effort for me to ask for a late lesson to the teacher. It seemed she simply wanted to go out with just 3 of them once a week. Even in an instance of Japanese dancing, I was again an outcast in my family. I wonder why it kept happening to me all the time. That was today's episode about Japanese dancing. It was one of my sad memories of my childhood. So, Japanese dancing sounds sour for me in a way. Have you, any of you, seen or heard about Japanese dancing? It's quite unique and very, very different from the Western style dancing. Japanese dancing is firstly, it is so slow. It's not rhythmic dancing rhythmic dancing. It's just continuous slow movings. And so it's not for the rhythm. It's just for the form, the streaming slow movings. And so since it's not rhythmic, the songs that dancing was danced to were also so slow tempo, and in most cases those songs have words, and in most cases those words are sad. So it's danced to slow, sad songs. And the costume is kimono. And it's danced by wearing kimono and as a prop, mostly Japanese fan accompanies to the dancing as a prop. And the dancing is a combination of slow movings and an opening and closing of the fan. And sometimes the dancer opens the fan slowly to the song, and sometimes they open, the dancer opens or closes the fan in a flash. So those movings are essential by using the fan, the timing. So although it's not rhythmic, the timing of using a fan is precisely calculated. And it's danced on the tatami floor, Japanese style floor, not board or wooden floor. It's basically practiced on tatami floor. Of course, when it comes to a public performance, it's danced on the wooden stage. And it's, I don't know these days, but it used to be quite popular among girls and women to take a lesson for it as a hobby or mainly domestic training, preparing of housemaking for kids, for their future domestic lives. And so my mother used to take lessons when she was a child, and my aunt did too. So in the old generations, that was a popular lesson for girls. And basically, when it comes to professional dancing, Japanese geishas dance it mainly in the banquet. But beside that, girls take lessons not to become a geisha, but to, as I said, to prepare of housemaking, prepare to become a good housemaker. So, in Japan, there are some ways to prepare to be a good housemaker. There are 3 big popular ways to prepare. One is the art of tea ceremony, and the other is the art of flower arrangement, and the third one is the Japanese dancing. It's through those lessons they practice and they learn manners, good manners or graceful movements. But actually it was ostensibly purpose. But in fact, their lessons are not for manners or graceful movements, but by learning those practices, they gain some good image, good good looking of their home status. By learning those things, the status of the family looks good. I mean pedigree. Girls who have learned those tea ceremony or flower arrangement or Japanese dancing under her belt mean to be from a good pedigree, good status of family. It was supposed to. So just to gain the good image and to marry into a good pedigree family, girls tended to take those lessons all in those days. I think in Japan things are different now, but when I was a child, those things were believed so. And except for preparing of homemaking, some women take lessons as a hobby after they get married as a housewife's hobby. And my mother took Japanese dancing lessons as her hobby. And she took it once a week. And because my sister was small, she took her along with her. And my father drove them to the house where the lessons were taking place. So I left alone again because I was a junior high school student, and when I came home, they had already left. So once a week, I had very lonely evening. And because it was after school, I was extremely hungry. And I lived with my grandparents, so I could eat with them. My grandparents would eat supper earlier than my parents. So I could have had supper with my grandparents. But as I told you before, my grandparents are so strict, disciplined, unfriendly, scary people. So I didn't want to eat with them. I didn't spend time with them. I always try to separate with them when I was in the house. as much as I could. So even though I was starved, I didn't join them at supper. And I was just waiting for my parents and my sister to come back and to eat with them. But they were so late, usually. And I was so starved and hungry and excruciated. It was such a bad experience once a week. Weekly torment, I would put it. And those evenings continued from my junior high school days to my late teens. And during those days, my sister because my sister also took lessons with my mother. My sister gradually learned Japanese dancing well, and when she was 16 or 17, she earned diploma of master in Japanese dancing, and it was quite accomplished thing for a Japanese dancer, I suppose. So one evening, my sister and my mother were unwrapped the things she was rewarded by getting the diploma of master, and they were chattering in front of those commemorative things before them, and they were happy. They sounded so happy together. I was listening outside the door of the room, but for some reason I couldn't get in. I just listened. I eavesdropping. I was just hearing outside the door that they were chattering happily about Japanese dancing and getting the highly accommodated diploma. And I was crying. I couldn't help it. I was crying behind the door. And after that, while I was crying behind the door, my mother rushed out and for some errands, and she found me listening to them. And instead of showing some pity for me or something, she scolded at me. She complained to me. She blamed at me for not to celebrate for her, not to be happy for her. My mother didn't understand why this celebratory occasion, happy occasion, meant unhappy to me. So she blamed at me for that. She told me I should have celebrated my sister. I should have been happy for her. But I just couldn't do that. I still think, or rather, I am quite convinced that those Japanese dancing things were not for my sister's future career. But it was just they wanted to go out, just three of us, leaving me behind. I believe they enjoyed going out without me. I'm almost convinced it must be so. And I was simply disliked by them. That was the only reason for them to let my sister take Japanese lessons. They let my sister, not me, but my sister, take Japanese dancing lessons in order to go out, just three of them, and to be away from me. I think I can prove it. That was the main reason. Because, come to think of it, my sister, after those years, she didn't become a professional dancer. Even though she earned the diploma, she didn't become professional. She didn't work related to Japanese dancing. She just had, long time before, quit Japanese dancing. As simple as that. And not for her career. She might have taken lessons for good homemaking to become a good pedigree homemaking person, but she didn't get married. she didn't marry. She didn't marry into a family with a high status or something. She just didn't. She stayed single. So these are the facts, and these are the proof that her Japanese dancing was not for her career nor her marriage. Just excuses. Just the excuse to get away from me. Well, that's all what I had today. Thanks for listening. I'm Hidemi Woods. I hope you join me again soon. Until next time, take care and be well.
Audiobook, The Family in Kyoto, One Japanese Girl Got Freedom by Hitomi Woods on sale at online stores or apps. Apple Books, Google Play, Audible, 43 available distributors in total. Audiobook, Japanese Dream by Hitomi Woods on sale at online stores or apps. Apple, Audible, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, 43 available distributors in total.
英語聞き流しリスニング、英語テキストと MP3 ダウンロード、その他の物語はホームページからお聞きいただけます。88thpp.com 88thpp.com